the Metal Voice, day number 2 at the Heavy Montreal, and we've got Hansi of Blind Guardian with us today.
Great to be here.
So you were at the Vakin yesterday, and you're in Montreal, Canada today. Explain how that happens.
Yeah, we're quick. We prepared everything properly, so we just finished playing Vakin, let's say 36 hours ago. Went to Hamburg, got a plane, and went straight to Montreal. Got through the customs without any problems. I found like, let's say 4, 5, 6 hours sleep, and here we are, and I'm in good shape. The other guys, since they don't have to do interviews, they're still in the hotel. I'm sure they're still sleeping, and they might be even in better shape.
This afternoon, I think you're going on later this afternoon, and it won't be quite as dark as it was last night. And
it will be bright still. We only have 45 minutes. That's a rare case, a really rare case for us. I believe it's going to be an intense show. Yes, you're right. There might be a little less people. But I have the feeling it will be very intense. I like that position on a festival. If it's like, you know, not too late and people are still full of energy, maybe we even have the chance to play in front of, I don't know, a lot of people who do not know us, and they may like us because we are good.
Right, exactly. and you know, for Blind Guardian is known for their epics and grandiose songs. How do you prepare a set list? You know, a lot of the songs are conceptual, and how do you prepare a set list for 45 minutes?
Impossible. Yeah, I was in a dilemma the last 2 days, and I was, even prior to the Vakin set list, I was thinking about the Montreal set list because it was far more difficult for me to set that together. Usually we have a constant opener. But for instance, here in Montreal, where we only have 45 minutes, I just thought, well, if we have that opener 10 minutes long, the Ninth Wave, then the show's over, you know, before we finish the song. So I decided to go for an old opener, which we haven't played for a while. I'm anxious to see how it's turning out tonight. And then I went for the fast stuff, because I think we have to be intense and, you know, right on spot. Apart from that, it's the classical stuff then. If we do it in 45 minutes, that's still a question for me. My tech came to me and he said, well, it's going to be tough, you know, to have that in 45 minutes. But I'm cutting down my announcements. You know, I can be long. I can extend things, to put it that way, and I will be very, very short today.
Just remember, merci Montreal. That's all.
Yeah, I can keep that in mind.
And then you're taking a little break, like you said, and then you're coming back in September, yes. And you were doing Imaginations from the Other Side in its entirety.
Yes.
Why that album and why now?
I was surprised myself. The point is, we have toured for Beyond the Red Mirror a long time now. We do, for the first time, a second leg of a Northern American tour, and we just thought, well, what chances do we have to, you know, set up new songs in a proper way, because we didn't have any time. And since Andre seemed to have a conceptual album tour in mind for a while, he came up with that solution. And yeah, I somehow liked the idea, and so did Marcus. And then we worked on it, and it appeared to us like the most attractive thing to do, because people can be pretty sure that they are going to listen to different stuff in comparison to what they have heard last year, actually. Right. And therefore it was a pretty good idea. We prepared a few more songs which we haven't played, so I would say 75% of the shows will be different to what we have done 12 months ago.
Okay. Is there a reason why you chose that particular album over other ones?
To be quite honest, there are two. It's a very successful album, maybe the second most successful album of Blind Guardian, just behind Nightfall, Middle Earth, I would say. There are still a lot of people liking that album most, and the main point for us is it is easier, you know, to prepare it than, for instance, Nightfall, Middle Earth, or Night at the Opera. Night at the Opera would be a nightmare, and I would say, well, give me another 6 months, but at least. And well, apart from that, it's so intense. So it has a vivid live feeling, and that's also different. You spoke about the orchestration and about the epicness of songs, and they contain a little bit of the epicness, but they're still on the thrashy side as well. And I believe that's in a live situation pretty good.
And then we look at Beyond the Red Mirror. I mean, we listened to that album, we reviewed that album. Where do you go from there? I mean, it's got everything you can imagine on it.
Yeah, it does. We got it to a point, and Charlie Bauerfeind was a great help there. We have had many ideas, but he at a certain point came up with the idea to drive things into a stronger direction, even into the orchestral direction.
Okay.
So that is where we would go next, and then it totally makes sense, because after that we will have time to keep our focus on new dimensions which we could explore. But since the orchestral elements are so strong on Beyond the Red Mirror already, I believe it will be a little easier for people to consume what we are doing with the orchestral album, because that's plain orchestra with me singing. Typical Blind Guardian songs,
Okay.
you will, immediately recognize that it's Blind Guardian, and maybe even easier to consume than Beyond the Red Mirror, because Beyond the Red Mirror is very massive and very progressive, while the next album, the orchestral album, will be very melodic, very intense, but classical intense.
So the next album would be a classical album that you're presently working on, or is it a retake or redone of older albums?
Oh, it's all new songs. We started with these songs when we did Nightfall Middle Earth.
Oh wow!
We got the first 2 songs back then, and I was, really pushing to have them on Nightfall, and Henry was just, they don't fit, and they're too special, so why not working on a whole album like that? And I said, yeah, great idea, and we are going to release that in 5 years from now. Yeah, 5 years from now.
5 became.
So 20 years later, we're still working on it, but we have, composing-wise, we're like almost working on the second album already.
Okay. Wow. And that's it. One of the questions I have is the public has there's so much music, there's so much going on. They have a short memory sometimes, and you take so many years to before releases. How do you keep the public's interest? Is it a struggle when you go out on tour to get new fans because of the spacing between the albums?
To be honest, I never thought about that, because we have established a brand, you can say,
right,
and people follow us. But as you said, young people, to attract them, the span in between 2 albums might have to become shorter, because of digital evolution, if you want to call it so. The minds of young people have changed, and we may even have to consider, being a little quicker than we have been so far. But at the very end, it's a quality which matters in Blind Guardian, and if we're not ready, we're not ready. And then we say, even if we lose people, or even if we have not the chance to draw the attention of everyone, then be it. But in general, it was the belief in what we are doing, which just gave us the confidence to take the time it took,
right,
always. But looking at how things work nowadays, it has become different, because the priorities have changed so much. People are not even able to listen to a whole song, for example. Maybe that's not our clients, but that's how it is.
Right.
And you have to be popular on Facebook, to prove you're popular. You have to, be in many playlists on Spotify, which doesn't mean anything to me
No,
at all.
exactly.
But I read some comments on our homepage, because some of the stuff is not available on Spotify due to some contractual things at the moment. But that's a different story. But the Spotify thing, they were bitterly complaining about it, and they were hateful, because we spoiled their playlist, because our old record company was forced to take the stuff out, so their playlist was not working anymore.
Okay.
I didn't even get the point why that was a problem, but it was a problem, and people relate to that, and we have to relate to that as well, but we take our time nonetheless.
For the new orchestral album, when do you think that's going to be released?
The orchestral album, and I was wrong with that ever since 1998, is going to be released in 2019, because we recorded a lot of shows last year, and we're going to release a live album in 2018.
Oh, great. Okay. Is that going to be a double live album, or?
It will be double. We're still working on the songs in terms of choosing which songs to take from which city, and I believe once we're back from North America in November, we're going to mix it.
So you have Blind Guardian touring North America this fall, starting in September. It's a band you got to check out. Make sure you go and see them. And once again, thanks very much, Hansi.
Oh.